ChessDiagnostic.
Hello everybody and welcome to ChessDiagnostic. I recently played a live chess tournament that was themed for the Halloween Gambit, and so I started looking into some of these opening lines and games, and I came across this really interesting game. It's quite fun, just to show you the most spooky gambit known to man. Alright, it starts with e4, e5. Normal so far, knight to f3. So we could go into a Petrov's after knight to f6, but here we get kind of a 4 knights game, and actually from the 4 knights, there's a gambit called the Halloween Gambit. White takes on e5, sacrificing a knight for a pawn, but the very interesting point of this gambit is that he can overwhelm black's position with a huge pawn center. So d4 pushes the pawn, and then after f5 and e5, black is completely passive and he has quite a difficult position. Now the computer's evaluating it as minus 0.8, so black does have a slight advantage technically, but practically for a human to play this is really hard, and I found that playing some of the games as black here. So white has a lot of options. He can follow the base ideas of just developing pieces, castling, and really it's on the onus of black to figure out how to develop and to start an attack. Now, especially with this move d6, it pretty much cuts off all of black's pieces. The light square bishop is here passive, the dark square bishop can't do anything, the knights can't come out except very slowly, and of course black's king is sitting in the center. So he takes, just trying to give some space to his queen. But of course, we know that we don't want to develop our queen too early, and that's exactly what he's doing here. Now, white even has just a bunch of attacking opportunities, threatening the fork of the rook and the king. And actually, white just ignores all of black's little threats by developing his pieces. Now, if the queen takes here, then actually we can just take, winning this rook, and even if the knight takes, black only has 2 active pieces, and white's just going to dominate very easily. And actually at this point it's winning for white. So instead he plays b6, trying to develop his light square bishop, as well as cutting off the threat to the rook. Now he has a discovered attack. The king moves out of the way. He castles, consolidating his position as white, and then, of course, he could take this pawn, but it doesn't really lead to anything. And actually, after queen to c4, it's losing, threatening a double attack on the knight, as well as on c7 for the king and the rook. All right, so let's go back here. That's not what he plays. He tries to protect this diagonal, but actually there's a deflection of just giving that pawn away anyway. And he plays queen to c4. Now with queen to e5, you can see how many moves that black has made with his queen, and there's just these pieces not doing anything. This gambit seems to be quite effective at paralyzing black, and I really like it. Queen to e5, threatening the bishop. And now, of course, white could just take the rook, but instead he plays a little bit more complicatedly. Check, moving the rook, but now, at this point, he's going to lose a ton of material and most likely be mated. So what do you think he should do at this point? Of course, white doesn't want to just take that bishop, he can take it any time. White makes the correct decision to develop all of his pieces to increase his activity as greatly as possible. He has so many moves, he could even just take here, winning a rook, but he develops all his pieces, and the queen threatens a rook. He comes up with the really brilliant idea to go for checkmate. What do you think the next move should be here? There's many moves that are correct, but white actually plays the most logical move, in my opinion, with bishop to g2. Now the rook is protected, and he's also threatening this rook here, and he's ready to go for checkmate. The queen takes, pawn takes, and After the knight takes, there's a mate in 2 if you want to solve it. And it goes knight check, king moves, and then queen to d8 checkmate. A very beautiful and awesome game featuring the spooky Halloween Gambit. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe for future videos. See you in the future.